Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. I, would you believe this is a first? I taped this video and was in the process of uploading it. And then I came across a variation. So I canceled the upload and I'm going to shoot this again, showing a modification. Now, I thought I had a very clever opening line in the last video when I declared that there was a crime spree happening in process. That I was stealing this idea from Marnel at Mimi's Keepsakes, who had in fact stolen it from Tina, Shabby Dabby Doo Don. Who knows where Tina might have gotten it. Anyway, I thought that was pretty witty. I mean, you know, hey, got to give a girl an E for effort. And then, so the whole premise being that there's nothing new under the sun, that everything that we do and create is a result of things that we have seen and done and tried, and they may not even, our inspiration may not even come from the field that we happen to be working in. Anyway, so that's all true. And then I realized I have a variation to add to this stolen idea. So of course, I'm going to do this again. So, okay. Basically, we're talking about envelopes. And we all have envelopes. And the reason I have this airmail envelope is because in a recent thrift haul, I got a box of these. So I challenged myself to use this. This is junk mail that had been, and I don't think I'm the one that opened it because I don't open envelopes this way. But that's where the variation comes in. Let me show you what the finished product looks like. So the two prototypes that I prepared for the last video, what can I use as a card here? Basically show a pocket here. Let me make sure you can see. Oh, I need something small. A pocket here. And a pocket here. Now, depending how you glue this down on your journal page, if you just do the U shape, then of course you've got another pocket at the back. So the challenge with this airmail envelope is the fact that it's pretty bold and busy to begin with. So I thought, you know, looking at scraps and looking at what I had at my disposal, I thought that what looked pretty good with it was this sort of miniaturized version of one of my digitals. So it's a really lovely cross-stitched linen with these corner designs. And I don't remember if I printed it I would probably think 4 to a page because of the size. And then I just pieced it in to cover, you know, these blank parts of the envelope. So I think that looks really cool. Added an airmail sticker, a US stamp that says airmail on it, and a blank tag. So that's that one. Then this was a piece of junk mail. So I used some of my what do you call them? Gel plate prints. This is another linen. So these are digitals, mine. These numbers. And then I fussy cut around these, you know, delicate little floral images. Added a couple of tags. And the other thing, well, I guess I'll show you in my next example here, is that you obviously cut down. Now this is a much smaller envelope, say, than something this size. So the amount that you cut down, of course, is going to determine the height of your pocket. Oh, so in my last video, I did, I used a brand new size 10 envelope. And if you would have seen that video, you would have seen me endeavor to use these fussy cuts from a wallpaper roll. And I think it turns out beautifully. Again, it's on a gel print of mine that is a digital in my shop. But I just thought the colors worked beautifully. And what I continued after the video was adding these little tags, you know, in preparation of doing a photo for Instagram. So I was about to do that. Like I said, I was already uploading the video. And then I thought, well, why can I not use an envelope like this that has been opened? I mean, that is opened or you know, proceed to open it. So then you would end up with a pocket here, a pocket here, a pocket here, and a pocket behind. So I guess we're not gaining an extra pocket, but we're creating that great big open one there. So first thing I'm going to do, see, and this was kind of bugging me. There was something lifting up there, so now I have this little hole here. Anyway, we will remedy that. So first thing I'm going to do is straighten this edge, because there's no point in starting out crooked. Now this is a tall, well, a long envelope, so you can see that it will need trimming. And basically how much you trim off will determine how big you want your final you know, project to be. If it gets too tall, then you're kind of limited in what you can put in that top pocket. So the first step in doing this the normal way is to seal the flap shut. Now I don't need to do that because, of course, that's how I found it. So I randomly picked that fold. I picked this spot. Now this is going to make this 6 1/4 inches tall, which is fairly tall, I have to say. Now, of course, I'm going to have to cover that, but that's not an issue because I'm decorating the whole thing anyway. But this thing is too tall, so why don't we decide right now how tall this is going to be, trim off the excess, and not waste time and effort. Oh, but see, the problem will be, maybe that's why nobody's done this before. Or, well, I shouldn't say that. How do I know? Let me see. Okay, I'll tell you what my thought process is. If I were to cut this, okay, let me see. If I were to cut this, say, at 4 inches, so in a, you know, a 7-inch or an 8-inch tall page, you know, it gives you some room to stick some things in it without them extending beyond the top of the page. Okay, but if I were to just randomly cut here, which is what I was going to do, that means I've automatically opened this up. So now I need to, let's see if I can gingerly open this up. Get in there. Separate this without destroying it. So that, so that I have something to fold down and, you know, could glue, say. I could glue that shut. Now that's too short. So let's, oh, don't you like watching something like this? Where she hasn't figured out how it's going to work, but is making you watch it anyway. Okay, that's kind of just a rough fold at this point. Let's see what we've got here. So we've got 4 1/4. So that seems fine. Now, because I have that little rip on the side there, I could glue that down. Now, I've got a lot of stuff happening here. Okay, to reduce some of this bulk and not create a sort of a, I was going to say a tripping hazard, let me make a nice straight cut here, but just on this bottom half. Boy, you know, if you guys can follow what the heck I'm doing here, then kudos to you, because I can hardly follow what I'm doing, and I'm the one doing this on the fly here. Okay, so I'm going, maybe I don't need a mile-long ruler. Where's my little guy? Oh, right there. Okay, so I'm going to draw a straight line because I don't want to do any more damage there. So I've got my ruler lined up. Where's a pencil? I'm going to cut this part off. Just to reduce some of the bulk, because it was kind of getting a little bit unwieldy there. Okay, so now I have this. So that's going to effectively seal the top. I still have this side pocket. I have this, I have this, and I have this. Now, I do not need that much of a flap, but I also have that little rip there. That was something that I did, so let's repair that with Scotch tape. Maybe we should do it on this side as well. It will be covered, so, I mean, it will also be covered with paper. Okay. Now, I don't need that much, so let's fold this Scotch tape down so it's nice and sharp. And let me just randomly cut that off. Okay, so first things first. Let's glue this little guy down. And then we're finally ready to begin. Okie dokie. Now, I don't know if let's really sharpen these creases. I don't know why that wants to bulge out there, but I'm hoping that by the time everything is covered, that will be cooperating. Okay, so because I didn't know that I was going to be doing this, I don't really have anything pre-selected. Okay, this is how I store these particular wallpaper fussy cuts. And as I said earlier, by keeping them in a pouch like this, it helps flatten them out a bit, because as you know, wallpaper is, because it's on a roll, a tightly wrapped roll, it is quite the thing to flatten out. So get rid of that because we don't need it. Oh, you know what? I have dictionary pages. Trying to empty this box, so why don't I use some of this? Hey, this box is almost empty. We should have a party. Okay, we'll just start gluing and see what happens. Okay, so of course, it makes far more sense. I'm just trying to create some space here. It makes far more sense to do the decorating before the gluing of these things. Momentous is a good word. Okay, I'm just going to, I kind of like that edge the way it is. Let's just randomly momentous is better than molestation, no matter how you cut it. Okay, I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to have that number will be intact, that word will be intact. Let's get rid of this. And then trim accordingly. Or in fact, what I could do is have that, you know, kind of reinforce that edge of that pot. That's what I'll do. So I won't trim anything there. I had to, right side. I had to crack open a new glue stick. So now I'm armed and ready to go. Whoa, I should do this on this sheet so I don't get that on my mat. Maybe if I turn this over, I can see what I'm doing. And hopefully you can too. Probably don't need all these rulers here now. That's a weak little corner there, kind of ripped. Now I should, just gonna angle this a bit so that so you can see, hopefully you can see, that I'm just running this surplus over the edge of the envelope, which serves to strengthen this edge here. And I don't know why, I mean, obviously, sometimes things aren't exactly printed straight on a paper either, so there was that little smidge there that needed trimming. Okay. Just give that another little. Now I have a hole here. Well, I can add that. That's probably not very good though. I have more dictionary. Same book though, so it's, maybe let's do a variation. Cut on this edge, straighten that out a bit just so it, and then I'll trim the edge. Because I was working with that hydrangea wallpaper in my canceled video, I was saying how pleased I was that the 4 hydrangea plants that I bought at the end of the season last year, you know, nice clearance prices, actually all made it through the winter and are greening up I'm giving them some TLC and some water because my acupuncturist told me, and she has some lovely ones, that they really need a good soaking in the spring. And well, probably through the season as well, I would imagine, especially if we don't get any rain. So that, I was thrilled about that. I know that years ago I tried to grow a hydrangea because of course the flowers are so prolific, but either I was a poor gardener or it was the wrong variety and it didn't survive. Okay, we're going to just continue with book page, I guess. This is kind of yellowy. It's a different sized font. I wish I would have. And here's something else. Boy, I'm going to have a little collapse here soon. That might be cute on the side there, especially if I can get that border in. Okay, so maybe let's do this underside first. Now that I don't, maybe I should tape that too, because when things are going in and out, I don't want them snagging on anything. The pains that a person will go to save an envelope. Let's just say that it might have been easier to find a new envelope. Goodness knows, I've got gazillions. And sometimes I think to myself, why are you saving all these envelopes? There is no shortage of junk mail. It's not like you need to save every one that comes into the house, because there might not ever be another one. So, but what do? I save it anyway. Doesn't make a great deal of sense, but hey. Okay, so what I have been doing on these other ones is kind of extending past the, how much of this is going to show? I've kind of been extending past the, just that narrow strip, because, if somebody looks in there, it'd be kind of nice if they saw something other than, oh, that was an envelope. So I could, oh yeah, that would be nice. Line it up so that, or maybe what I'll do is line it up so that it's not right butting up against there. Some rough measuring. I don't want all that bulk there, so I might as well. I'm going to just trim bigger than necessary so that I don't have to worry about not having enough. So I don't know, probably not in shot right now, but the other thing that I found in that box that I said I almost emptied, don't want to get too close to the fold because it interferes with, so that looks straight. It interferes with the folding. And again, I don't care that this goes down there. I can't have it go beyond, but I will have it. Let's trim. Let's have it go inside though. And again, it'll reinforce the edge. Whoops, I needed to trim this guy. Anyway, what did I start to say? Oh, what I found in that box. That was a very tiny thing that I left there. I hope it stays down. Sometimes if you're a little skimpy with the things, they cause more problems than they solve. Okay, cool. Anyway, what I was saying is that in that box, I found some fussy cuts out of a book on furniture. So why can't I use that, pray tell? Okay. So am I going to use some of this? I don't know why I have this page, but it doesn't matter, I can use it. Try to get as much text on there as possible. Again, I'm just going to roughly trace beyond so that I have surplus. Another thing I should have done in between shooting that first video and the second one is put some hand lotion on. These poor hands are suffering because of all the work outside. In the flower beds and helping hubby with some of the disasters that seem to follow farming. Okay, I can quite easily trim like so. Boy, that's not a very... What kind of an angle is that? I guess it's not math. I don't have to worry. Okay. Can afford to trim something off here. And this is what we've got. Now I have a little bit that will go around each side. Okay, my best bet in a scenario like this is to put the glue on this thing and then just try to center the part I want, and rather than putting it on the paper and hope that the glue is in the right spot. So we want that triangle totally covered. We want most of the, I don't need that much overlap. I do want it to be straight as possible. I guess I could have a, well, but then I end up, no, I'll leave it where it is. boy. Could have used a little more overlap than that. Oh, well. Okay, I'm going to trim this because I don't need that much here. Don't know if there's glue on there or not, so I better add some. Okay, that's kind of cool. But that's neither here nor there, so I might as well trim it off. It's not going to help much, so. And sometimes when you have just a sliver, it doesn't, it's a nuisance trying to keep it, you know, keep it glued down, sort of. Okie dokie, finally. Okay, so just as a reminder, I'm not cutting this open because we've got this side pocket instead of this style. So what I can do now, that's a job for this guy, art glitter glue, is glue this. Yeah, because that's a big enough pocket. Glue this and I think because this is kind of cool, there's a bit of white space, there's a decorative border, there's kind of an interesting font. I'm not going to bother decorating this little area here, whereas on these I did. You know, so that'll be the plan on this one. And then, of course, we want to glue this down as well. Now, I suppose, of course, I get that thought right after I've glued it down. Maybe in this case, I'll make an exception. And I will do some inking. Just because, okay, what do I want? Do I want Rusty Hinge? Yeah, let's go Rusty Hinge. That's this guy here. Now, because I made my life a little more, okay, I'll do the parts that are easily accessible. And I guess in this case, it does add some interest to this fairly white, you know, border here. Okay, so now, oh, well, I can do this part too. Now, of course, the tricky part is the other areas. So what I'm going to do, I'll use this page, is put some protection in there. Doesn't quite cover. Just to keep, you know, to kind of control where the ink actually goes. And then the same thing here. So if you ever, you know, forget to ink and think, oh, brother, I should have, done it. This is a way to sort of control what you're doing. Okay. Okay, let us quickly choose something from here. So that, oh, there's another little bit of that border. We'll see. Maybe that could be used up there somewhere. Let me just, okay, I said I'm not doing anything there, so I basically need an image for the back. And then for this little triangle. I don't know what all this is. I know what this is. Let me tell you. Okay, this book must have reeked of smoke. So these little strips are dryer sheets that I sort of tore into narrower strips to sort of, you know, get between the sheet, get between the sheets, to get rid of that smell. Look at that clock. Oh, that'll be so cute there. Oh, you probably can't see that clock. Isn't that cute? Yeah, so, you know, some of these things you do and you put away, and it's best to, you know, it's like a watched pot that never boils. Put your dryer sheets in there. Promptly forget you ever did it. And then when it's done, weeks or months later, you think, hey, this is awesome. The smell is gone. Okay, so I want something a bit taller for the back. So I want a dresser. That maybe is a wee bit on the dark side, but we'll leave it there for the time being. It's in the semifinals. This will be too wide. Oh, that might be a better choice. It's a bit narrower. And I mean, I will fussy cut around it, but yeah, that's kind of cool. It does quite a, you know, it does a good job of covering. And yet it's, so again, why am I looking more if I already decided? And I want to not bore you guys to tears. Okay, so what I'm going to do, holy cow, this is as bad as making you watch inking, but this is pretty straightforward. I should be able to cut this kind of quickly. And it won't need much more decorating than that. You know, I may choose to do, well, I'm sure I'll add a label or something. Of course, it's like when somebody is watching and you can't do whatever it is that you're trying to do. Whether it's typing, all of a sudden you can't spell anything. So you guys can close your eyes for this part. I hope that you are a subscriber. I hope that you are giving me a thumbs up. I hope that you're writing a comment. And when you comment, I hope you tell me where in the world you live. And if it's not apparent in your name, in your whatever YouTube account, that you tell me what your first name is. Okay, don't cut that little leg off. And I further hope that you're tuning into my series, What's in My Bookcase. Those videos get loaded every Saturday, or sorry, they are posted. I tape them ahead, of course. They are posted on Sundays. That's Mountain Daylight Time. This one that is coming up this Sunday, and again, of course, that's kind of pointless telling you that because I don't know when you're watching this, is all about birds. Another thing that seems to be really popular with people, and I think it's because we like to live vicariously through others, are the thrifting videos. And of course, I have several of those scheduled for some upcoming Thursdays. I feel like I want to add this as well. So, yeah, let's just maybe rip this edge a bit. Have this not quite so square. And when I say square, I mean rectangle. Oh, dear. Yeah, it's kind of nice, and it almost visually connects these two things. Don't cover the number. Now it's kind of feels like, oh, there's a gap there. I wanted it to, anyway, I don't need to explain every move. Let's rip a bit more of this off. Let's position this and then see if I need this little space filled. I could have a piece of, I could have a label or a sentiment or something there, so it is not the end of the world. So again, that intersects that breaks that line. It doesn't cover up the number. Let's make sure it's straight. Let's glue this guy down. Whoopsie. And let's glue this down. Yeah, that feels like a hole there. So can I quickly find something? Whoops, did I just touch the... That looks kind of funny, doesn't it? Here's a bit of script. That seems too big. I'm staying in the monochrome. I'm going to put a piece of... Did I have a... I also have this, but is that going to be... obviously, imagine it trimmed. It's so white, though. I could... Okay, that little foot on that thing keeps getting caught. I could... Let's do that. Tuck this under, but first, darken it up a bit. Just going to pick and you've seen me do this 100 times, this vintage photo brush. Now, it's unfortunate that the design, mind you, it could go the other way. There's nothing to say it has to go in that direction. And this way, the little raggedy edge would be the visible one, and the straight edge would be under the, or behind the dresser, or not the dresser, but the, what do you call it, china cabinet. And again, sorry for all this fiddling, but this kind of matters, or at least to me it does, because if I the whole idea was to kind of cover that hole there. So if I get it, if I don't position it right, I'm still going to be dissatisfied with it. So sorry if that confuses or annoys you. Okay, so I'm going to be just below that area. I woke up with a headache today, and I don't know whether it is dehydration, because somehow I have to keep forcing myself to drink water, enough water. Oh, jeez. Talking about positioning, and then I don't put it over far enough. Let's get this right, woman. Oh, goodness. I'm going to probably end up having to re-glue this. Okay, I'm not pressing it down till I know. Okay, so basically right up there, I'm going to re-glue because I can see that being a problem. Yeah, dehydration or all the smoke in the air from the out-of-control forest fires. I don't want that to be a catching point when things are put into the pocket. Okay. Still could have been over a little bit. What the heck? Let's see if I can. Yes, I can slide it over. Thank goodness. Now I have a crease in it. Honestly, should I just go back to bed? Some days it feels like a person's just fighting every step of the way. Okay. For better or worse, that is where it's going. And I'm going to use art glitter glue because of those little legs right here. And I'm not going to be able to position this umpteen times because it's art glitter glue. So let's see if we can get this right on the first attempt. Otherwise, I have to learn to love it wherever it ends up. So I wanted to cover up that straight edge on that little border piece. Does that look? It looks like it's leaning forward. We don't want the cupboard falling over. Okay. Hallelujah. Okie dokie. So, let us pretend we have a pocket here. We have a pocket here. Now, granted, it's not going to hold very much, but it could be something taller and skinnier. Oh, I see I need to give it a little dab there. A bigger pocket here, and then, of course, if you glue it down as a U, one at the back. But I see that this, probably from me getting in and out of there umpteen times to move that border, probably weakened that glue hold. Do I want to Again, why am I doing this in front of you? I could just let you go. This is vintage photo. I'm just wondering if I can maybe tone down that orangey thing a bit. Make it a wee bit wider. That little guy that was loose there is torn off now. Again, I'll have to get in with the, I'll have to use some protective paper in there to prevent the glue, or not the glue, the ink from going where it doesn't belong. Or I can just take my chances. This is like trying to get blood out of a stone. Okay, so these are the finished pieces. Now I feel a little better about all of this. I did steal the idea, but I then modified it. So maybe the judge will be lenient with me. There you have it. Thank you so much for joining me. Tomorrow is another day, and there will be another video, of course, in the 100-Day Project. Thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Please give me a thumbs up. Like maybe this video especially, I need that that reinforcement that redoing the video made sense because of the variation that I was able to show you. Anyway, I don't want to resort to groveling, so I will stop there. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.